Alrighty.
It's already on.
Hi guys.
Hi Mike. See, you got it. It's better.
Apologize for my tardiness.
Well, you were at a baseball game last night.
Well, that's right. I was tripping the light fantastic
in
at the
the
Dodgers game.
What'd you think?
It was fantastic, of course. I mean, I'm English, so you can write down what I know about baseball on the back of this dictaphone. But yeah, it was great, man. Yeah, a lot of passion. Very, very exciting.
Nice.
Are you Angels or Dodgers?
Go Dodgers.
Name 3 players. Go.
We're here to talk about the fight, Karen.
You said at the end?
No. So I just left training. I just done 5 rounds of sparring with a fresh sparring partner every round. Of course, that's been pretty much my life for the last 8 weeks. So I was a little tired. Watched the game for a while, did my little TV bit, and then, no disrespect to the game or to anybody there, it was amazing. The passion was incredible. As I was leaving, I said, I don't think there's anything in this world that I care about this much, because they hit a home run and they were going psycho. It's great, it's awesome, I love it.
On the broadcast, they said not one person has left yet, and then some of the other commentators said
Until they went to my seat.
I think
Yeah. There's 2 empty seats. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. I had an emergency. I know. That's what they said. $10,000. That's great. Oh, that's great. I'm a very busy man.
Awesome. Hey, so TJ, you know, obviously this has had such a build-up for so long. As you get closer, does the pressure build up for you more, or is at this point no more pressure because you finally just get to punch each other?
That, and it's been going on for so long, there's a lot less pressure. I've been dealing with the same questions, the same bull crap for a long time, you know, so it makes it a lot easier to even deal with it. You know, all the drama is the same stuff, so it gets old, not only for me, but for everyone, so it makes it easier for me to deal with it.
So what's your real team or your camp now? Because I know you've worked with Perillo down at Ruka with Mike here and stuff, so you're still with Bang, but it seems like you traveled around a lot more for this camp. So what would you call your home base, or do you even have one right now?
We're starting one. I'm starting a private gym in Anaheim called the Training Lab. So we've brought in a lot of good training partners into there, as well as coaches. Dwayne's been making it out 3-4 days a week, training with me out in Anaheim, living in Orange, and work with a new strength conditioning coach. Got to work a little bit with Perillo towards in between my camps. So my camp was going to be in July, and then fighting Demetrius in August, and then now so I've been working with him down at Gracie Baja and Irvine. So it's been fun to mix it up and work with a lot of new coaches. You know, I've kind of broadened my knowledge.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what do you think you got out of that? What's the benefit? I mean, I know how good Jason is. I've seen his work. I know how good he can be.
Yeah.
But what did you feel that you picked up from some of these people that you hadn't gotten before?
You know, as long as you're willing to soak up the information and learn from anybody that's worth learning from, it's going to help you out so much. I can become a new fighter. I can learn new tricks. I can add things to my game. I could be a completely new fighter if I wanted to when I come out, you know, but obviously I'm going to use the things that work as well. I'm just kind of, you know, always reinventing myself. I felt like my last 2 fights have been different than the past. And I'm always kind of switching up per my opponent. And the best thing to do is to keep your opponent guessing. You know, I feel like that's what makes you the best in the world. Mike,
what have you seen with TJ? You've seen him get some work in, right?
I mean, a bit more a while ago, more like further out from the camp, of course. When it gets to this stage, it's more specific and you're on your own. So, I mean, he was in there busting his ass, working his socks on. Because I said, hold on, the fight with Cody's off, right? You know, that's a while ago when Cody pulled out, and he was still in the gym every day, and I was turning up a little bit out of shape back then. But I'm not out of shape now, that's for damn sure.
TJ, when Cody said on the call yesterday that you regret leaving Alpha Male every day.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
I find it funny because they've actually made it easier for me to leave Team Alpha Male. They've made it, they've showed that my decision was right, you know, with how immature they've been and how all the bullshit that they care about and how much they care about my life and just how childish they've been has made my decision easier. And I just gotta let them keep talking because they make themselves look like fools, you know?
Why do you think they hold on to that that struggle more than you?
That's a great question. I don't know. They started this whole thing is Team Alpha Male versus everyone, you know, which I feel is like a bad choice. Now they're stuck in-house. You can't cross-train. You can't go out and do what I've been doing and learning from new coaches. You know, I think it's that Uriah, when I left, I was a champ, or when I was forced out, I was a champ, and he didn't want his gym to seem like it wasn't okay for me, or it wasn't good enough for me to train there, you know? So it's been just kind of hyping themselves up, maybe a little bit of insecurities, I'm not really sure.
You know, Mike, it's interesting because for you, and we know you have your issues with Wolf's Lair, and we know that, you know, you used to work out a lot with Mark and the guys down at Rain and stuff, but you kind of have been the lone wolf, more so. Like what TJ's doing now, you've kind of always done in a way. I mean,
yeah.
So why is that? How come you didn't want that team? How come you don't feel the need for that?
It's not a team sport. It's not a team sport. And to be honest, I mean, I'm 38 years old. I've done this for a long time. I've done martial arts for a long time. And don't get me wrong, having a support and having teammates is great. It's awesome. It is. But you know, it also causes complications. I'm sure as TJ's figured out. But yeah, it's great to have teammates.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I could have some more teammates. And you know, finding sparring partners, good guys to push is always a challenge. It's just the way it's worked out. It wasn't necessarily a conscious decision, but yeah, I'm very, very happy with the training environment. This camp's been, everyone says it, it's a cliche, right? The best training camp of my life, but it really has been. And that's because I'm fighting George. I know I had to step my game up. George is one of the best fighters to ever step foot inside the octagon, so I've got to raise my game because I want to beat him. And if I'm going to beat him, I've got to push myself to the extremes. That's why I've got out of bed, had a coffee, and ran 4 miles every single morning. Then I've gone and trained, then I eat, I sleep, I go train again. And that's all I've done. I've been super disciplined. I've eaten the correct foods. I'm 200 pounds today, so I'm on target weight. My cardio is through the roof. I'm knocking guys out every single sparring session. That's what people say. I swear to God on my children's life, people have been going to sleep very, very regularly in this training camp. If George beats me in this fight, I'll be the first to hold his hand up and say, congratulations, well done. Because I've got no excuses. I'm the best version of myself, physically, mentally, athletically. You know, I don't see how George wins this fight, if I'm honest.
So I personally am not one of those everything happens for a reason person,
me
and
neither.
I don't think you are either, right? So then, but this fight was supposed to happen a while ago.
Yeah.
So, in hindsight now then, is this the best situation that is happening
Yeah,
now?
no, for sure it is. I mean, Dana offered me the fight with Yoel and Whittaker. As you know, I went down and I challenged Whittaker in the ring. I accepted the fight with the winner of that fight. I didn't know who it was going to be. I accepted Whittaker, I accepted Romero. Turns out Whittaker won and injured himself. So that opened the door for this fight to happen again. And here we are. I'm happy I'm fighting George. This is a hard fight. I know it's a hard fight. That's why I've trained the way I have. He's got a big advantage in the wrestling department. I've brought in some great wrestlers. You know, way better wrestlers than George. Of course, this is MMA, so it is different. But, you know, we'll see what the little lizard's got. We'll see what he's got. I mean, I'm ready for him. We'll see if he's ready for me. I think I'm hearing that his mentor, Christophe Madou, has walked away from the camp, doesn't want any part of it, says he's too slow, doesn't like the way he's performing. See, he's bulked up and got bigger, and you can see that he's got a little fat head, you know, the little rolls in the back of the neck that people get. He doesn't always have that, but he does now. And that slows you down. It slows you down so you can be as big as he wants. He's still going to be the smallest little shit that I've ever faced.
UFC?
No, I was just going to say, what have you done? I mean, you've been in this game for so long. How are you better at this age than you were like 10 years ago? What are the secrets?
It's this, the mentality. I mean, physically, yeah, I'm still learning things. That's the beauty of mixed martial arts, right? There's always things to learn. But I'm controlling this way better now. I used to try and get angry before fights. Now I try and stay as calm as possible. And I am. I do a good job of that. I mean, I'm an emotional wreck at times, you know. And but this training camp, well, ever since the last couple of years, we've worked with Jason Perillo. But our best work is done after the training, when we're sat down and I'm dying, I'm covered in a pool of sweat, and we talk, and he gets into my mind, and we talk about the emotions of fighting. So it's one thing to do it in the gym, and then it's another thing to cross that over into sparring, and then from the sparring to the fight, and it takes time. You know, it's a very physical sport, but the mind controls everything, you know, and I've just matured. At 38 years old, I guess it had to happen sometime.
For both of you guys, UFC waited a long time to get big events in New York and Madison Square Garden. Last year's one was obviously a big one. They've obviously put a whole lot into making sure this is a stacked card. Is this have a special kind of feel for you guys? I know you're focused on the fight at hand, but is this event in general have a special kind of feel to it?
Go ahead, TJ.
Absolutely. I think it's the biggest fight arena you can fight in, really. From being a fan of just fight sports in general. It's and I was there when the last UFC was there, and it was a very good environment, and I'm excited to put on a show for all the fans there.
Yeah, obviously being English, I'd never been to Madison Square Garden. It's a long trip to watch a boxing fight or whatever. But last year when they had UFC 205 with Conor, I was there doing the Fox thing, and the whole thing was about Madison Square Garden, such an iconic arena, and we had to talk about that and hype that up on Fox. And realistically, in my mind, I'm thinking, what's all the? I don't get it until I was there. You know what I mean? Then I was there, you could feel the energy, you could feel how special it was, the energy in the room, you could really tell it's a historic place, you can feel it, and of course when you know the history of the place, the fights that have happened. So yeah, the closer this fight gets, the more excited I'm getting. I get on a plane on Saturday, I get to New York, and the party starts, I guess.
Michael, you've probably taken more criticism from fans since you've been champion and all the years prior to that. Why do you think that is, and where does that stem from?
Well, I don't know. You tell me. They're saying that I'm ducking contenders, Pretty sure I accepted a fight with Yoel and Whittaker in one night. Do you know what I mean? So they're the ones that couldn't make it to the octagon, not me. So they say I'm fighting a blown-up welterweight. I guess I am fighting a blown-up welterweight, but that's not my choice. That's the UFC's choice. So I open my mouth, I say things.
So Robert is supposedly going to be in New York next week too.
I should think so.
Yeah. So what would you say to him afterwards?
I'd say open his fucking mouth and let's sell a fight.
Yeah.
Because he's boring. He's a great fighter though. He's a great fighter. He's a nice guy. Yeah. But come on, what did he do? Him and Yoel, two great fighters, 125,000 pay-per-view buys. No one wants to watch them.
Well, the rumor wasn't somebody trying to say that your guys' fight wasn't selling so well? The 217 card is.
We're gonna sell just fine. We're trending very well. Don't you worry.
Michael, I know you're based over here now, but it's a pretty remarkable time for fight sports in Britain in general. Anthony Joshua's fighting this weekend.
Massively.
UFC's going from strength to strength. Have you sort of picked up on that even sort of?
Well, the boxing scene. We've always had a strong boxing scene in the UK, but right now it's incredible. Certainly with the heavyweights. I've always been proud to represent England, and of course, with a rich history steeped in fighting sports, and of course, we're kind of late to the party, if you will, in some regards with mixed martial arts. But we're here now. We've got the first British champion, and hopefully, I'll still be the champ next Sunday. But we have a wealth of fighting talent in the UK. I'm proud to have been at the forefront of that in the mixed martial arts term for quite some time. But yeah, we've no shortage of boxers, as you know.
TJ, so one thing I want to hit on is when you guys were doing The Ultimate Fighter, one of the interactions was you said something to the effect, I'm paraphrasing, but I have a higher fight IQ. And Cody said, but I have this right hand.
Yeah.
So if you remember that interaction, but really, how do you see this playing out? Because obviously we saw what he did to Dominic, and he beat Dominic at Dominic's own game.
Dominic played his game.
Well, see, that's what I'm wondering, what your take is on that. How do you
Dominic
think that
played his game. Dominic didn't fight how he should have. He's usually a very smart fighter, and he actually let the emotions get a hold of him. And I thought it was going to be the other way around, but for whatever reason, he didn't fight like a veteran. He didn't fight like he should have. He put it into Cody's hands.
So what is the approach then for you? How do you dictate the TJ pace and not let Cody
you
get
fight
his
smart.
Yeah.
You use the fight IQ. Like Cody used prove my point. And I'm telling him, my fight IQ is better, and he just holds up his right hand. It's like, that's my point exactly. You know what I mean? So just be a lot smarter fighter that night, and I know that I am.
Mike, do you think that that's a concern for you guys? You and George both obviously have a very high fight IQ, but in the past, we've always thought with George, people joke, jab, takedown.
Sure.
His IQ could have completely changed. He could be a totally different guy.
Yeah. Listen, he says that he's reinvented himself. Okay, I disagree. Maybe has he gone out there and maybe learned some new techniques? Yeah, of course. Why not? Sure, But under pressure, you go back to what you know. You go back to what your skill set is suited to. So when he gets jabbed, when he gets kicked in the head, when he's wobbling around thinking, shit, I wish I was back in Montreal eating bloody, what do they call it?
Poutine.
Poutine. He's going to go
You
for
gotta
a
be
double.
very careful about
He's
what
going to
you
go
say.
for a double leg. Yeah, he might wish that as well. He's going to go for a double leg. Of course he is. That's the way he fights. If you look at the way he fights, he takes people down because that's what his skill set is attributed to. Now, a lot of people have been talking about him training with John Danaher, the Danaher Death Squad, and they're all about leg locks. He's been in his corner forever, okay? George St-Pierre takes people down, right? He's got a good stand-up game, decent to where he can mix it up for a bit and then take people down. That's what he's going to do in this fight. Make no mistake. He's not going to stand with me, and I couldn't give a shit. He's saying I'm terrified of him taking me down. I'm not terrified. That is something that was abundantly clear to me. The name, ever since George St-Pierre was mentioned, I thought, here we go. We got the fight avoider. You know when people take you down, they hide in your guard, and you come up, move, elbow back down. Boom, hide, elbow. That's all he's going to do. I'll stand there on my feet, I'm going to knock him out.
So what have you evolved at then? Obviously, we know your cardio's always been on point. That's the same. Where has Michael Bisping improved? You're 38. I could say the same thing about you. You're the same guy.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, my wrestling's definitely got better because I've had to for George. You know, my takedown defense is way better. We brought in these two wrestlers. I forget their exact credentials, but I've never wrestled with anyone quite so ridiculously good in my life, to be honest. It was very humbling. These two college kids, they threw me on my head all over the place. And they're not throwing me on my head all over the place anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm having a good time.
Did you make him put gloves on?
I did a couple of times. Yeah. Of course I did. I had to drop a little left hook, you know. So, but yeah. My takedown defense has got better. I mean, I'm sitting down on my punches. I'm knocking people out, you know. Simple as that. And I believe I will knock George out. I believe it. He doesn't like to get hit. Now, nobody likes to get hit, but some people are more accustomed to it than others. Okay? And he marks up, and when I punch him and he gets red and he starts bleeding, he's going to start panicking. And he's going to go for that double leg. I'm going to get back up and restart.
Like, if you win, sorry, Martin, you win at 217, you win over George St-Pierre. You've already beaten Anderson Silva. I think you have either once or number one or two in terms of wins in the UFC.
Number one.
But it feels like you don't get the credit from fans that if you look at your resume,
sure,
that you're owed. Why do you think that is? And you think you're someone that you will appreciate down the line?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so. I mean, the thing is, they all say, where are all these top 10 wins? The problem is I've been in the UFC for so long. They were in the top 10 when I fought them, but they're not. A lot of them are retired now. They call me a fake champion. I knocked out Luke Rockhold in 3 minutes. It's always been that way. Listen, I'm sitting there, I'm joking around and being silly. Some people take that the wrong way. I'm very, very serious about what I do, and I'm not here by mistake. This thing to my right is not here by accident. It's through a lifetime's hard work. And will they give me respect down the line? Maybe not. Honestly, I couldn't care less. And I said this at the press conference in Vegas, and you're all very fine journalists, but your approval is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to take care of my family. I do this for my wife and children, and to give them a great life, so that when I'm retired, they can live a good life, and hopefully there's even a little bit left over for their kids. So we'll see, you know. And if down the line you guys say something nice about me, then that's great. If not, kiss my ass.
Does it frustrate you even a little bit because you have that great resume?
Trust me, I do get a lot of respect.
Okay.
You know, you might read all the negative comments. I read the good ones.
I don't read them.
There's plenty of good. I'm joking.
Well, the thing is, you've been fighting so long, there wasn't even a top 10 back in the
No,
day.
there wasn't. There
So,
didn't used to be a top 10, exactly. You know, so, I mean, all right, brag time. They can say whatever they want. Most wins in UFC history, most fights in UFC history, most significant strikes, probably the most main events. I mean, current world champion. I rest my case. What more do you want me to say? Tough talk host, movie star, friend of TJ Dillashaw. It doesn't get much better.
You know, TJ, people talk about how family changes things for you. Obviously, Michael, that he's way more motivated than maybe some other people. So now with your imminent fatherhood, has that changed your mentality at all? It's okay if it didn't, I guess, too, right?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I've always been as motivated as you possibly can be.
Yeah.
You know, I think I say the same for Mike. You know, like he's always been motivated. Even when he was coaching Ultimate Fighter, he was motivated. Like the family's just icing on top. You know, and now it's just where you want where you want your, like you say, your livelihood, your money to go to. You know, like I'm not gonna go out and buy some expensive cars. I want to hold on to it and start my family.
Boats,
but,
maybe.
Yeah, some boats. Yeah. But
TJ likes his boats.
but really, it comes down to I've always been motivated. I've never been a guy that leaves the gym early. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys know from The Ultimate Fighter, right? People forget.
Yeah,
coached
no, of
me.
course.
Together,
Yeah.
right.
I said back then, didn't I, TJ? As soon as I trained him on the Ultimate Fighter, that sounds. He was on my team. I didn't
Right.
train him, but I said when he won the belt, of course I claimed him. I told him everything he knows. I said you're going to be world champion one day. I said you can see it.
But what did you see?
I saw a guy that was incredibly motivated, incredibly talented, with a really good skill set and the ability to go the whole way. That's what I saw, and I still see it to this day. And he proved me right. He became champion, and him and Cody next week is a hell of a fight, very evenly matched. So he might well get his belt back. But going back to what you said before about pressure. Your pressure comes from different areas, and people always ask in settings like this about the pressure. Ultimately, you're going to step into a fighting arena in front of the world with somebody that's looking to beat you unconscious or choke you out. So that brings all the pressure you need. Of course we want to win. I'm not turning up for a payday. I'm turning up, all right, I want to win. I don't want to get my ass kicked in front of the world. That's motivation enough. I pride myself on being a fighter. That's what I do better than anything else in this world. I fight. And I'll be fucking damned if George St-Pierre is going to beat me on a world stage and on top of that, knock me out. So I don't need any extra motivation. There is no extra pressure.
Michael, are you able to comment at all on that lawsuit against you by the 19-year-old
Yeah.
in Anaheim?
Total bollocks.
Yeah.
There's your comment.
That's it?
Well, listen, it's a lawsuit, so, listen, I've even been served with papers. I know they're suing the UFC,
Right.
they're suing 24-Hour Fitness, they're suing William Morris Endeavour, they're suing Michael Bisping, so good luck with that. But it's completely infactual. In fact, what I've even read about it so far, there's many contradictions. So, I obviously it's a lawsuit, so I don't want to say too much, but I can just say, not losing too much sleep, and it's not correct.
Why do you think it came out just this week?
Well, you tell me. It happened months ago. It's very, very tactical. Let's bring it out. A week before the biggest fight of his life. Bring some attention to it, perhaps. Maybe look for a settlement because he doesn't want back. I'm already saying too much. Good job.
You're not worried.
I'm already saying too much.
George's working in Freddie Roach.
Yes.
Also working before. Did you put any stock in those? Obviously, a very well credentialed boxing.
Yeah, listen, I've had a bit of fun with that in training camp. Freddie Roach is an amazing boxing coach, and I have a ton of respect for what he's done. I jokingly said he probably can't spell UFC, which is true. It's different. Boxing for MMA and boxing for boxing, there is slight subtle changes you need to make. But for one, I hope he turns George into a boxer where he feels confident enough to stand, because that's what I want. I want to fight him on the feet. I don't want to wrestle him, so great. Work on your boxing, that's beautiful. Secondly, it takes time to build. When you coach, there's many trainers out there, there's pad men. I can work with Karen for half an hour and teach her some combinations on the pads. She can then put the pads on and do that with her daughter. You can be a pad man, but to be a coach is a very, very different thing. There's many pad men, there isn't many coaches. And for a coach and a student, that's a relationship that has to build over time, and trust has to develop over time. So him bringing in some fancy boxing coach for one training camp, that's flying up to Montreal 3 days a week. I don't give any credit to that. If George was coming down to LA and he was going to Wildcard and he was training with all the killers in there on a daily basis, that'd be a little different. The best thing about Freddie Roach is the gym and the fighters that he has. When he goes up to Montreal, he doesn't have that with him. It's like in Rocky when he goes down and he trains with all the guys. He went in there and he's getting his ass kicked. But no, he's bringing Freddie up to Montreal. They're sitting in restaurants. They're having eggs Benedict. Good for you.
TJ, Cody has said when you guys were teammates that he never really liked you that much. He didn't feel like you guys were friends. Do you remember how you viewed him when you were both there at the same time?
Yeah, we weren't really friends. We didn't hang out outside the gym. He was a hungry kid coming into the gym. I had the belt at the time when he was coming in. I was coaching practices. I was holding mitts for him and stuff before his first couple UFC fights. But other than that, it was just strictly business. He was a training partner. We didn't really spend any time outside the gym.
You didn't have any feelings on him? Who's this kid coming to the gym?
No, man, we had a lot of people doing that. we had a lot of people coming in, going out, a lot of guys traveling the world to come and train with us, which is part of why they're such hypocrites is that they're allowing all these people to come in and train and leave, but as soon as I do it, I'm the enemy, so it's kind of crazy.
Did you think he'd be really good when you first saw him?
He was talented, he's a reactive athlete, he's quick, and he definitely had some fire,
For you guys, for you fighting a guy that's undefeated and you fighting a guy who hasn't lost in 10 years even though he's been off for 4, how difficult is it to try to establish and know that you have a surefire route to victory when this guy hasn't really lost in the octagon? How do you do that?
It's easy, man. I mean, everyone's got to put their pants on one leg at a time, but then also I've trained a lot with this guy. I know his holes. I've seen him, and I can pick apart tape. Everyone's beatable. I mean, I proved that when I fought Barao. Everyone thought he was unbeatable. I was an 8-1 underdog, and I went in there and proved that there was holes in his games, and I knew that they were there from the beginning. I was saying it from the very beginning.
You spoke about.
Hold on, can I answer that question as well? I'm googling George St-Pierre to bring up his Wikipedia page, and I'll give you the answer. Because if you look at George St-Pierre's record, and I shouldn't downplay George St-Pierre, because really I should play him up and say, it's the toughest fight of my life. He's amazing. I've really got my hands full here, and I have got my hands full here. But if you look at his record, I don't know off the top of my head. That's why I'm looking at it. But he's fought a lot of the same people over that period. He's fought them multiple times, and if you go through the opponents, BJ Penn, who he fought twice or 3 times, I'm not sure, he's a featherweight, right? All right, Johnny Hendricks, look at Johnny Hendricks these days, but still, Nick Diaz is a welterweight, Carlos Condit, that's a good win, Josh Koscheck, Dan Hardy, Thiago Alves, lightweight, BJ Penn, featherweight, Matt Serra, lightweight. These are all smaller guys. It's easy for him to go in there. Back then it was like, George is 190 pounds and he's cutting down to welterweight and he's fighting guys that are coming up in weight. So he always had that strength and size advantage. Now, he'll probably be stronger than me in this fight. I don't doubt it because he lifts a lot of weights and, he's doing his amino acids every morning and this and that. Do you know what I mean? He's a real athlete. But I'm a bigger natural guy, and he's not going to have that advantage, So, yeah, he's great and he's beaten a lot of competition, but he's had competition that's been suited towards him, size-wise, skill-wise, and this is a different matter.
You spoke about immaturity from him and his camp. Mm-hmm. In some ways, that may have helped him when he was chasing the title. He had this sort of youthful fearlessness. It's a different thing when you actually hold the belt, isn't it? Do you think that may count against him a little bit?
It definitely can, You've seen that. I felt like when I won the belt, I didn't change who I was, I did a lot of growing up through college. I didn't start fighting until I was 24, so I had to. I did a lot of growing up early before my career, and I'm glad I did. When I became champion, I stayed level-headed. I stayed who I was. You've seen him change a lot. Change his character, change everything about himself. And man, it's all this fame, all this stuff coming to him. I think it's gonna mess with him a lot.
So TJ, what do you make of what Demetrius was able to accomplish? Obviously, we know for a hot minute there was talk of you guys fighting. Yeah. Still could happen in the future. What'd you make of that?
It was a great performance. Even the way he finished the fight was awesome. He's always one of those guys that pushes the pace and breaks him in the end and gets that finish late in the rounds. He's looking great.
How would you beat him?
There's a lot of ways to beat Demetrius Johnson. I feel like I'm a lot bigger of a challenge than the guys that he's been fighting. I am bigger too. But the thing is, I can make the weight.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that I can do what he does. I'm bigger at it, and I'm just as smart as a fighter as he is. I keep the composure, and him and his coach are very cerebral coach and fighter. And by me playing that game as well, it's going to be a chess match, and that's how I beat Demetrius Johnson.
How badly do you want? Oh, sorry, no. Yeah, no. I was just gonna say, how badly do you want that to happen?
It'd be amazing. He's the pound-for-pound kingpin right now. Like you beat him, you're taking over the throne. That's the plan. That's why we're doing this. That's why he's champion of the world. That's why I'm going to get my belt back, and I want to be pound-for-pound best in the world.
And that fight was being talked about. Did you start kind of dieting down, to test down to see if you could make weight? Yeah,
I was told it was going to happen. So I was supposed to go to the press conference for my fight in July. Found out I wasn't going, so I knew something was fishy. I hit Dana up instantly. I was like, what's going on? He told me that Cody was going to Germany to get something done for his back, and so I told him, I was like, look, if Cody can't fight, I want to fight for the title. I want to fight Demetrius Johnson. He's up for this record-breaking fight. It would be huge. I can make the weight. He said, good, I love it. That's what's next, He told me I think I had 3 weeks from when I told it wasn't happening from when it was happening. I was waking up at 154 from the beginning, and I was waking up at 140 3 weeks in. I was still 9 weeks out from the fight. I was waking up at 140 pounds, you know. So I've taken diet real serious since I've been down in Southern California. I met a new strength and conditioning coach as well as nutritionist, pretty much just a scientist with how he's developed my body. And I've been able to boost my testosterone levels over double with just the way I've been eating and training. So it's been cool to see, and it's definitely a great possibility of making 25s.
Michael, you said a couple times during this whole promotion tour that you think George was on steroids at one point, maybe still is on them. What makes you say that? Because he's been very vocal, like, against steroid users, kind of like you have. What makes you think that he was on them?
I mean, he retired when USADA was implemented. That for one is a red flag. And I've heard things. I don't want to step outside the circle of trust, shall we say, you know? So, but I've heard things, and when I was told these things, they said, didn't hear it from me. Please don't say you said this, so I'm not going to betray them. But I've heard some things, you know, but whatever. You know, is he on them now? Definitely not. It can't be. I mean, I've been testing a bunch for this camp. I'm assuming George has as well. But I feel like he was taking them in the past. I feel like he was, yeah. And I think when you look at him, you can see that. But I'll guarantee he's a clean athlete now. In the past, maybe. If what I was told is true, maybe. But I don't want that to be the narrative of this fight. You know, obviously I'm going to say that because it's kind of the prick I am. But the narrative is that I'm fighting one of the most dominant fighters of all time. You know, and I'm very excited for the challenge. I mean, to beat Anderson, to beat GSP, to add him to all the other names that I've beaten, yeah, that made me a happy man.
Mike, I know they were asking before about your retirement because you had mentioned it.
Yes.
As we know, though, you do okay, and you have 3 children.
I do.
Approaching college.
I do.
How much longer do you want to do it? You say you feel great, but how much do you want to be a 42-year-old fighter?
No, I don't want to do that because, I mean, I've got some things going on outside of fighting, but I said that prior to this training camp because my wife wants me to retire. You know, I've done this for a long time. She wanted me to retire after the Luke Rockhold fight. She said, if you win, great. If you lose, please retire. But if you win, what a great way to retire. I'm like, babe, that's when we finally start earning some goddamn real money. Do you know what I mean? It's not, my financial advisor be like, what are you doing? So it doesn't make sense. But I'm 38 years old. I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve. Now, of course, it's about stacking as many chips as I said. But you got to know when to walk away as well. George walked away. He shouldn't have walked back. You know, because he could have retired as a legend, he retired as champion, and now he's coming back, so his retirement is out the window. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that sticks around too long. You know, you see it, they're all getting knocked out and this and that, and you think, oh, walk away. I don't want to be that guy. I've still got a few brain cells left. I'd like to hang on to them. I do enjoy this though. This training camp for me, I enjoyed it so much. I was like, oh. So listen, I did say that this might be my last fight, but after this one, I feel like I have to unify the belts. Even though it's not unify the belts, I'm the undisputed champion. There's a little Mickey Mouse belt floating around. There's no need for that belt whatsoever, you know. But I get it. They want to sell pay-per-views. Throw an interim belt on there. So you know, maybe I'll fight one more. Fight Robert Whittaker in Manchester or London. And then maybe call it a day. Who knows? We'll see.
Why was it so fun? Because it was George as an opponent?
No, just because I love doing this. I love doing this. I mean, you know, we work at Fox. I do a bit of acting here and there. I do this and I have fun, you know. But this is what I love to do. This is what makes me feel alive. Going into the gym, even though I'm tired and I'm sore and I want a cheeseburger so bad. Walking into the cage and sparring and performing well gives me the highest high, the biggest rush that you can ever imagine. That does it for me. That turns me on. And I've loved this entire training camp.
Was there a point before that you ever did consider leaving? Like, you know, what's in this for me anymore? Back in the day,
well, I mean, listen, you know, we're prize fighters. We do it for money. Anyone that says they don't is an idiot, you know? I do this for money. And right now, the money's good. So it keeps me around, you know. Now, I'm not only here for, as I just said, I love it. I'm passionate about it. But I like to get paid. I'm a working class guy from the northwest of England. I'm out here living in California. I've got the world belt on my side. Fuck. Why would I want this to end? I've got you guys listening to all the bullshit that comes out of my mouth. You know, I love having an audience.
Will this be the biggest payday of your career this fight?
I hope so. I bloody well hope so. You know, come on, George, say something.
Biggest show purse?
No.
No, it's not.
No.
What was bigger?
Well, it'd be the same as the last one.
Same as the last one.
Same as the last one, yeah.
But
God
with
damn.
but
I
with-
tried. I tried.
Sure, I have no doubt.
I tried till I was blue in the face.
But on the back end, pay-per-view
Back end's gonna be
sales.
good.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see.
For you, TJ, too, do you expect this to be the biggest payday of your career?
We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
A couple quick pictures here.
Yes.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
TJ, I'm bursting for a pitch. You want to do your picture first? I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry. I've been drinking coffee all day.
I know that. I know that look. Light. It's kind of cool. You're actually getting like a halo effect too.
Perfect.
You could just scoot this over.
Yeah, right? Go back on my shoulder where it belongs.
I meant to ask, who do you like in Joanna versus Rose?
I do think it's probably going to be Joanna's toughest fight.
Yeah.
I mean, Rose has been awesome. It all about who shows up. If Rose shows up.
Yeah.
Awesome. But,
She's got a better like sub game than a lot of the other girls who Joanna's
Yeah,
fought. You know?
yeah.
So Rose is scrappy.
She is. She's
so
tough.
tough.
Super tough.
That's gonna be a great fight.
Yeah. But Joanna's just
Part
so
of
mean,
the
man.
medication.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
She believes everything she says.
I
Like, there's
know.
no insecurities from
No,
her trash
no,
talk.
I know.
Like, all her trash talk is real
It's like
life.
totally factual. Yeah.
Don't insult me.
I know. She's great.